Deep inside a sunny forest, where the sunlight filtered through the tall trees creating a magical dappled effect on the forest floor, lived a playful lion cub. This cub was full of energy and curiosity, always exploring his surroundings and finding new adventures. He loved to run and jump, leaping over fallen branches and chasing after fluttering butterflies. His days were filled with joy and excitement. One day, while exploring, he saw a cozy spot under a tree. The shade looked inviting, and the ground was covered in soft, cool grass. A big lion was sleeping there, his chest rising and falling with each deep breath. The cub had never seen such a large lion up close before. The cub, driven by his playful nature, ran towards the shady spot, his tiny paws barely making a sound on the forest floor. He jumped on the big lion's back, thinking it would be fun to play with him. The cub's playful spirit knew no bounds. The lion woke up with a start. His eyes wide open, he looked around to see what had disturbed his peaceful nap. The cub, realizing he might be in trouble, quickly jumped off and hid behind a nearby bush, peeking out to see what would happen next. The big lion let out a mighty roar. "Who dared to wake me up?" he roared. The little cub was scared. He had woken up his father. The lion looked angry. He was about to scold the cub. Just then, a tiny voice squeaked, "Please don't hurt him." A little mouse stood before the lion. "I was playing with the cub," squeaked the mouse. "It was my fault he jumped on you." The lion looked at the tiny creature. The lion started to laugh. "You are so small. How can you be so brave?" he chuckled. Section 4. An Unexpected Friend. The mouse looked up at the lion, its tiny heart pounding in its chest. It had never been this close to such a majestic and powerful creature before. The lion's golden mane shimmered in the sunlight, and his eyes, though fierce, held a glimmer of curiosity. "Even though I am small, I can be a good friend," he squeaked. The lion smiled, a gentle and warm expression that softened his otherwise intimidating appearance. The mouse's bravery was evident, and the lion couldn't help but feel a sense of admiration for the tiny creature standing before him. "You are a brave little mouse," he said. "I won't hurt you. Run along and play." The lion's voice was deep and resonant, yet it carried a tone of kindness and reassurance. The mouse felt a wave of relief wash over him, knowing that he had made a friend in the most unlikely of places. The mouse scurried away, happy to be safe. His tiny feet moved quickly, and his heart was light with joy. He knew that he had found an unexpected friend in the lion, and that this encounter would be a story he would cherish forever. The forest seemed a little less daunting now, and the mouse felt a newfound sense of courage as he continued on his way. Section 5. A Kind Act Remembered. This is a tale of unexpected friendships and the power of kindness. It reminds us that no act of goodwill, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Days later, the lion, who once roamed the jungle with pride, found himself ensnared in a hunter's net. His mighty roars echoed through the forest, a desperate call for help that seemed to go unanswered. But not all ears were deaf to his plight. The little mouse, who had once been spared by the lion, heard the thunderous roars. Recognizing the voice of his friend, he didn't hesitate. With determination in his tiny heart, he scurried through the underbrush, racing against time to reach the lion. Upon arriving, the mouse saw the lion struggling. Without a moment's delay, he began to nibble at the thick ropes of the net. His teeth, though small, worked tirelessly, cutting through the bindings that held the lion captive. Bit by bit, the net began to give way. The lion, sensing his impending freedom, roared once more, but this time it was a roar of hope. Finally, with one last bite, the net snapped, and the lion stepped out, free at last. The lion looked down at the mouse with gratitude shining in his eyes. "Thank you, my little friend," he said, his voice filled with emotion. The mouse simply smiled, happy to have been able to help. From that day on, the lion and the mouse shared a bond that was unbreakable. The lion had learned a valuable lesson, that even the smallest of friends can make the biggest difference. And so, in the heart of the jungle, a kind act was remembered, and a beautiful friendship was forged.